Hello and welcome to the World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of reflexologists who have a passion for helping people have better health. And in fact, we have a belief that if people around the world had reflexology to use on themselves, that the world could be a healthier place. Our mission is to improve health worldwide through self-help reflexology. What's reflexology? Reflexology is a way of helping ourselves to stay in good health. It's called prevention. And if we do have aches and pains and different discomforts, then it's a way of sometimes helping us feel better. How is it done? Well, reflexology is done by using our touch in nurturing ways on maps of the body that are believed to exist on the feet, on the hands, and on the outer ears. And let's take a look at some charts that'll show you what reflexology is visually. So now let's take a look at the World Reflexology Foundation color coordinated chart. If you notice on the left, there's the human body, the lady, but it would be the same for the man. And the colors from the top to the bottom, from the top of her head to her feet. Well, we're going to take a look at those in a minute, but notice on the feet and hands, that they're also the same colors, going from the top down to the heel of the feet and the wrist of the hands. So let's take a look. Notice the purple color of her head and neck. But that color is color coded. If you go to the toes, you notice it's the same purple color as it is in the fingers. That's indicating if you have problems, stress in your head and neck, that you would go to the fingers and toes to help get relief. If you come to the body again and notice the blue, that's for the chest area. And that means chest in front, heart and lungs inside, everything inside the chest, and then the shoulders and back, because when the shoulders are actually the top and back of the chest. And we go to the same color, the blue, on the feet and on the hands. And now if we go back to the human body, we look at the yellow and the orange. The yellow is upper abdomen, the orange is lower abdomen. And that's where you'd work on the feet, the yellow for upper abdomen, and the heels for lower abdominal pelvic area. And on the hands, similarly, the yellow for upper abdomen, the heel of the hands, the orange for lower abdominal pelvic area issues. So that's for the feet, hands, and ears as far as from the top down. Now let's take a look at the legs. Notice they're red, and you go to the small red spots on the feet and on the hands. Notice the cursor that's showing you. And then go to the arms. Notice the green representing the arms. And notice the cursor is going to show us on the outer edge of the feet, below the small toe to the heel, and also the outer edge of the hands from the small finger down to the wrist. And then down the middle of the human body, notice that there's something that looks like a ladder. And that's representing the spinal reflex area from the neck all the way down to the lower pelvis area. And if we go to the feet, notice where the feet come together below the big toe down to the heel. That's for the spinal reflexes on the feet. And on the hands, similarly, we're below the thumb down towards the wrist for spinal issues. Then let's go to the ears and think when we were children, we used to try to do headstands on the ears, headstands. And notice the purple is on the bottom instead of the top. That's because the image of the human body and the outer ear is upside down. So for head and neck issues, the purple, we'd work with the earlobe area. The blue is for the chest reflex area. The yellow and orange are for the upper and lower abdominal areas. The red is for the legs, leg reflexes. The green for arm reflexes, shoulder all the way up to the finger top where the cursor is now. That would be for the fingertips. And then notice the spinal reflexes, that curved area. So these are the maps that we use for the feet, hands, and outer ears, showing you what the concept of reflexology and the reflexology pressure maps.
It's so good to see all of you. Thanks for joining us. So I'm going to show you today, I'm going to start us out with an ear reflexology technique for working the spinal cord reflexes. And I'm going to show you first on this ear, and then I invite you to join me as we work on our own ears. So the technique that we're going to be using is with our thumb behind the ear and the index finger on the front of the ear. And we're going to be working the area on the outer ridge of the ear from about here down to here. And so the technique is going to be sort of a supporting behind with the thumb, and then we're going to be slowly moving across and unfurling the outer ridge or helix of the ear. And as we make each pass slowly, we're going to be moving down closer to the down to here. So that's the technique we'll be using. And I can't emphasize slowly, even slower than I'm going to be showing it is going to be great. So, so you can join me now if you'd like, and we're going to be thumb behind the ear, index finger on top, right about here, and nurturing pressure and pulling the index finger across as we unfurl the outer ridge. Move down just a slight bit and do the same thing. Feels really good. Slowly unfurling that outer ridge, spinal cord reflexes. Ooh, feels really good. I can't see you, so I hope you're all going along with me. Was everyone going along with me? You can also, we have 2 ears and 2 hands, so you can also work on both ears at the same time. Keep in mind you need to keep your shoulders relaxed. Don't be tensing up in your shoulders. Keep them relaxed. Maybe rest your elbows on a table as you work slowly both ears at the same time. You can do this anywhere it's convenient while you're watching TV, or just put your elbows up on a pillow in your lap and just relax. This is really good for relaxing the spinal cord reflex. Okay. That's it. I hope you guys practice this from time to time and let us know if you feel results from this.
The next point that we're going to do is also on the ears, and it's the cervical spine or neck reflexes. And we're also going to do the thoracic points and the lumbar, which is the mid-back, and the lumbar spine, sacrum, and coccyx, which are the lower back reflexes. And Tina's going to show us these points. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you, Mita and Melanie and Kathy, for showing all those wonderful points. So happy to see you all today. So as Mita said, I am going to be showing you the reflex points on the ears that represent the different areas of the spinal column. And as Stephanie was explaining, the body is kind of on an upside down scale here. So the head is located on the bottom of the ear versus the feet up on the top. So for the neck, and for the neck, the mid back, and the lower back, it's all on this ridge right here. This whole ridge, this piece of cartilage. You can find this on your own ear by just coming onto your earlobe, going up a little bit towards your face, and you will find that ridge that we're talking about, that we're going to be using. So it's right in this area here. So for the neck or the cervical spine reflex points, what you're going to do is supporting behind the ear with your thumb. I'm going to just switch around so you can see there, supporting there. And then I'm just going to lie my fingertip. So I'm pinching basically that cartilage between my fingertip and my thumb. And I'm just going to hold that point. So what it would look like on your own ear is you're going to locate that point and you're just going to hold. And we have 2 ears, therefore we can reflex both points at the same time. So as you can see, I have it there and there. And again, rest your elbows on a table, bring your shoulders down, or you can even lean over and use your knees. And you're just going to hold these points. And while you're holding this point here, you're relaxing the neck. So you can visualize your neck relaxing, taking big, deep breaths in and out. You can close your eyes. You can think happy, relaxing, calming thoughts. And you can hold this point anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. Longer, if you have the stamina, that's perfectly fine. And you're just holding this point. This is going to help relax your neck, anything above, directly above, anything directly below the neck area. And I can see you guys are practicing along. You look fabulous there. Now moving up from that point, we're going to go to the thoracic or the mid back area, which is located right in here along that ridge. And same thing, you were here for your neck. Now you're going to just move up a little bit to get into that thoracic area. And same thing, you're going to have your thumb behind for support, and you're basically just going to be holding the cartilage between your thumb and your forefinger, and you're just going to hold that point. Again, relax those shoulders down. If you'd like, place your elbows on a table. Close your eyes. Big, deep, relaxing breaths. Happy thoughts. Visualize your neck relaxing, that whole mid-back thoracic area. And again, for presentation reasons, we're speeding it along. But as I said before, you can hold these points for anywhere between 5, 10, even longer if you've got it in you, minutes. So from there, you guys feeling relaxed? Feeling good? You guys are looking good? Good job. So now we're going to go up to the lumbar reflex points, or the lower back reflex points. That's located, we're coming kind of up and around this ridge, same ridge, just going up and around. And we're going to be holding in that area. So what you can do for the lumbar is you can either take your fingertips and kind of get underneath that ridge. And you can kind of push up and then in towards your head. Can you guys see me okay? So you're going up and then I'm pushing towards my head. So you can do that with either your fingertips, or you can either bring in your thumbs, kind of going underneath the ridge, up and then towards your face. trying to get my hands out of the way, but that's what it would look like. And then you're just going to hold this thought, or hold this point. And again, this is for the reflex points for the lumbar or the lower back. Same protocols, big deep breaths, close your eyes, relax, visualizing your lower back, just relaxing, bringing energy to that area. Beautiful. Looks fabulous, you guys. And holding the lower back reflexes has been reported that it will actually help release sciatic issues and help with sciatic issues. Now moving on to our next 2 points, the sacrum and the coccyx. That's, you're going to follow this ridge all the way to the edge here, right to where basically it dead ends into your face or into your head. And again, you're going to pull up and push towards your face. So you're going to come in. I find it easier to do this one with my fingertips, all the way to the end there, push up, and then just flatten that ridge against your face. So it would look like so. I hope you can see. And you can do with both fingers. So hooking up and flattening against your face. And this point, if somebody has unfortunately injured their tailbone, this is a great point to hold if there's been tailbone injuries. Now, as you're holding this point, all of these points are that I just went over are very good for helping keep our spine healthy and relaxed. The spinal column actually houses the central nervous system, and the central nervous system is responsible for all the functions of or most of the functions of our body and our mind. So you can see how holding these points, reflexing these points, are so helpful for our whole body. Very good. You guys look great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina. That was wonderful. Lots of reflex points that you showed us there. So the next one, we're going to do, the next points that we're going to do, Stephanie's going to show us the spinal column from the neck to the coccyx, way down to the tailbone, and she's going to show us on the feet. So that's different.
Thank you, Mita. So here we have a foot. It's not my foot, it's not attached to anything, but it's a good teaching prop. So we have the spinal column reflexes are located on the inner edge of the foot, actually on both feet. So I demonstrated on this foot first, show you where the reflexes are. Let me show you first. I start at the lower part of the spine. So we have close to the heel, we have the tailbone or coccyx reflex. And a little higher up, we're coming into the sacrum reflexes. Then even higher up, the lumbar or lower back reflexes. And that is kind of if you have the inner ankle bone here, the lumbar or lower back reflexes, it's kind of below the ankle bone. Then we're coming further up from about here to the big toe, to the base of the big toe, we have the mid-back or thoracic reflexes. So that's a very long part of the spine here. And then from the base of the big toe to the, not quite the tip, but I always say about where the base of the nail is, there we have the cervical spine reflexes or the neck reflexes. And to show you how we work that, I show it on my foot. So the way I do it to work on my own, and you can follow me along, if you can, you put your foot kind of across on your other, across your other leg. You could also put your foot on another stool. I put my foot across here now on my other leg, and I use my other hand. So it's, if I work on my left foot, I work with my right hand, and I put my fingers of the working hand underneath my heel and start with a thumb roll technique. Some people call it inchworm. I'm starting rolling across the tissue from the heel on the inner edge, starting with tailbone reflex, sacrum, and then coming to the lumbar reflexes. So I'm working on the inner edge, not on the sole of the foot and not too high up, along the edge. And I'm concentrating on the lower part of this spinal reflexes here. And sometimes I lift off and start again. When I feel that there is a little tenderness, sometimes I can, if it's too much tenderness, I can just hold for a moment and do nothing, just hold, maybe rotate a little bit until the tenderness eases off, and then I can work over it again. The technique I'm using is our thumb roll. It's one of our main techniques in reflexology. I push lightly into the tissue and bend and unbend my thumb and inchworm forward, in this case toward the toes. And I lift off, and areas where I feel needed more, for example, my lower, if you have lower back issues, then you work over that area a little bit more and often, and keep it slow. The slower, the better. And then my fingers, they just move along. So I'm moving up now to the mid-back reflexes or the thoracic reflexes. Bending, unbending the thumb. If I feel a tenderness somewhere along the way, again, I can stop, or I can lift off and go over it again and again until the tenderness eases off a little bit. And then I move on further up toward the big toe, toward our neck reflexes. And here I have two choices. I can go up, or I can cradle my big toe with the other hand and come down, again on the inner edge. So this is how we can work on our spinal column reflexes on the foot. And I'm going to show you again and invite you to follow along. If you can, reach your foot. You can put it either up on a stool, or you can cross your foot. And I show it here again slowly, how you can work it. So we're starting, if you already worked one foot, do the other foot, because the spine is in the middle, right? So we're working basically relaxing the muscles next to the spine. So we always want to do both sides, not just one foot. If you can, always work both feet. Ha. So you start up from the tailbone reflex or coccyx, sacrum, and I bend and unbend the thumb, bend and unbend. Staying on the inner edge. Now I'm coming to the lumbar reflexes. I lift off because, do you know anyone who does not have any tension in the lower back? Sometimes it's not just pain, but so many people have tension in the lower back. So I always go a little bit more over the lower back or lumbar reflexes. And then I move on to the thoracic or mid-back reflexes. My thumb rule technique, the other fingers, they just follow. And you can work even slower. And you can work for as long as it feels good. The longer you work it, the more congestions or blockages you work out, and the more relief you will find. And here I'm coming to the neck reflexes. And as I showed you before on my foot, we can come up. If that doesn't feel good, you can cradle the toe a little bit with the other hand, and you can come down. So there are always options. Make it as comfortable, especially when you work on your own foot, make it as comfortable as you want. And work both feet. You may want to start with the foot where you have the side where you have the discomfort, but then go on to the other point. And you don't have to always start with the tailbone reflexes. You can start, for example, if you have mid-back issues, you can start on the mid-back reflexes. All right, so that is working the spine on our feet.
Thank you, Stephanie. And we have one more person to show you some points. And this time, Sarah's going to show us the same similar points, but on the hands. So Sarah, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Mirroring similar to what Stephanie said, the hands are a wonderful option to work the spinal reflexes. And they again the thumbs work as the big toes. So you would work the inside of your hands. We'll start with one hand. We will place, the easiest way for me is to place one hand in the other hand and supporting the wrist, start at the base of your wrist, which would be your lumbar or lower back reflex, and slowly work either in an inchworm way or by holding it and doing little circles. And because our hands are so convenient, this can be done anytime, anywhere, really, unless you're actually driving. You can do it on the couch. You can do it while you're waiting for somebody. You can do it at dinner. You can do it, having coffee. It's a nice way to wake up your back in the morning. So taking your thumb and slowly working your way up the side of that bone, very slowly working all edges, because our back, although it's a spinal reflex, our back muscles support that spine. So we want to work all around that area. So we'd want to take it three-dimensionally, a little bit in front, a little bit behind. I'm quite sore here, which means I probably am having a little bit of back stress. Another area I just want to point out at the base of your wrist, if you go slightly around your wrist, you'll be getting your hip area. And that's also a really wonderful place to work hip and pelvis to support, again, that sacrum, lower coccyx area. So we'll slowly work our way up. And as we get to the base of our thumb, we're going to want to work around that area. Again, that would then be after going through the mid-back thoracic reflex. That would be, the base would be your neck, shoulder area. So I want to work that knuckle really well, all around that knuckle. Now this wrist is starting to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to hold it in a different way. Now I'm going to support it this way, and I'm going to come at it in a different angle. So you want to work it however feels most comfortable to you. As you're working around that knuckle, perhaps work a little higher and work your way all the way up to that first knuckle joint down from the tip of your thumb. So again, working all around that whole area will bring relief to not only your hand, but possibly your neck reflex as well. So just to show you on my opposite hand, because again, two hands like 2 feet, 2 ears, working both is going to help both sides of our body. We're gonna just point out one more time. We start here, or actually you can start it from the top and work your way down. But I'll start at the base. Hip, lumbar, reflex. So we'll just work again our way up. Feels nice. Work our way around three-dimensionally. I'm going to support in a different manner. Again, I'm going to work up. I love this joint right in here, which again would be near the shoulder, base of your cervical reflex, and up into the neck reflex. So because we use our hands so many times during the day for computer work, on our phones, when we were driving, this is a really wonderful area to work because it's going to give yourself relief not only to your spinal reflex points, but also to your actual hands, which is a benefit. It helps to break up any blockages and bring circulation. So it's a really win-win.
Good to see a lot of you working on yourself, following along, not only watching, but also working on yourself. That's the idea. And by the way, in this video, we had to go very quickly to cover a lot of information. What we encourage you to do is to, like I'm going to do with my voice now, is slow down. Spend a lot of time working on those reflexes as frequently as you reasonably can as well. Now, after you do reflexology, it's often suggested to drink extra fluids to help keep yourself hydrated. And coming back to the reflexes for a moment, remember the top priority is the one that you want to work on most. If you don't have time to do all three, be sure to do the first one if you can physically. We'd love for you to share this information, help us spread the information around. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and also non-vocational. So it's self-help work that we teach here. And one of the things that we could ask your help for, we already mentioned one, which is to share this with friends and neighbors, family members. But also, we would appreciate your donations. Why? Because although we all at the World Reflexology Foundation, we're all volunteers, it costs us money to get some of the projects done that we're working on. For example, we're translating a lot of the articles that are on the website. If you go to the website, worldreflexologyfoundation.org, you notice that there are a lot of articles there, and also they're being translated into other languages from around the world, a long-term project, and also the videos. And eventually we'll get to having all the videos with voiceovers from around the world as well. So all of these projects are ambitious. They do take quite a bit of money. So if you have the situation where you could donate, we would appreciate your helping us, but just be as generous as you can. But most importantly, it's not to help us with the projects as much as to help us get the projects out to the world, to help the world be, as we said at the beginning, to help the world be a healthier place through self-help reflexology. So bless you. Thank you so very much for being with us. And until the next time, we wish you very vibrant, good health.